You're listening to the Auxiliary Gate Podcast, Kentucky's weekly horse racing discussion. And now, here are your hosts, Alan Schneider.
Very well mounted, as you would think.
Geoff Riggs.
His groin is superior to Joe's.
And me, C.C. Broaddus.
Because I grew early.
The Auxiliary Gate, big problem.
Here we are. It's episode 253, recording on August 26, 2026. I'm CC Broaddus. Not that that's important. What is, we're joined by, again, Alan Schneider. Alan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. And that's not that important either. That's just the way it is. So,
and the well-mounted Geoff Riggs.
Thank you. Had to throw that in there a second time for you that one day there, CC. I think that's my favorite, or your favorite of my on-air quips, I believe.
It's part of it. It's when they write the story of Geoff Riggs, that will be chapter 6.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's kick it off here. Of course, bad news yesterday, sad news. Dolly Parton, of course, we lost at the age of 80. I was going to ask you all your favorite Dolly Parton tidbit, memory, story. I'll kick it off, give you a chance to answer. I did not know that her famous, I think it's her most famous song, I Will Always Love You. Of course, it was re-recorded by Whitney Houston. I did not realize that she wrote that song
Porter Wagner
as a tribute to Porter Wagner, because she was on his show and she became bigger than the show. So she did not know how to tell him she was leaving. So she wrote that song for him, and then basically he knew. So I thought that was interesting. I did not know that about that song.
Interesting. I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
Alan obviously did.
I'm an old country music buff, so I kind of know most of these stories about Dolly and some other folks. So
yeah.
And
my favorite thing about Dolly is just what a good person it seems she was. Not that I've ever met her or know her or anything, but she at least did all the right things to make it look like she was a good person. I think she's maybe one of the most universally beloved celebrities that there ever was. She's just done a lot of good for the people, for communities, for the kids. You know, she's got that whole thing with the free books for kids that, you know, sends out and everything. And I think that's the way she'll be remembered in my mind.
So again, I am a bit older. I'm 56, and I'm a big 70s country music person. So I have followed her career since day one or whatever, right? Because it paralleled my life somewhat. The Porter Wagner thing, she was on that show. Again, she became the big star. I don't know if they were ever an item, but they were tight, and then she left, and he didn't like it because I think he could be kind of a jerk at times or whatever. But they got that resolved with that song. But there's so many things with her. Of course, I remember 9 to 5 was on the cable all the time when I was a kid. So was Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. If you've never seen that, that's worth watching with Burt Reynolds. But her you know,
Is it? Oh, come on.
Well, if there's for certain reasons it is. She may have been skimpified in that or whatever. And Hard Candy Christmas is in it. So and when I was a kid, it was funny. I haven't seen it in 40 years or whatever, but. Her best song, I know everybody talks about "I Will Always Love You," and 9 to 5 is great, but her best song is "Here You Come Again." That's awesome. And so is "Two Doors Down." Just a couple of fun songs, and she's always so quick with a joke and is always so intelligent. The one thing that I remember rehashing as I was going over things yesterday when she says, people asked her if people get tired of her thinking she's a dumb blonde, and she's like, no, because I know I'm not dumb, and I also know that I'm not blonde. That she had she had all kinds of quips like that all the time. That's very, very intelligent woman, very caring woman, and the stuff she did with charity just goes beyond belief. You could go on and on with all that she's done. So I remember going to Dollywood as a kid and all this stuff. So true loss.
Well, interesting that, of course, Kentucky Downs opens this weekend.
I know what you're going to say.
There is a filly in the very first race. 30 minutes, 30 miles outside of Nashville at Kentucky Downs, there's a filly in the first race on Saturday named Dolly Part-Time.
Yep.
A
Mhm.
$500,000 daughter of Not This Time, who's already got a start under her belt. Not a very good one. Not a good start to her career. But I got a feeling she's probably a little bit better than that. So,
If she goes off 9 to 5, watch out, right?
oh, yeah, that's a good, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Yeah, ultimate hunch play. She's definitely going to get bet. That's for
She's
sure.
definitely going to get better, whatever, and stuff. But of course, these entries came out before this terrible thing happened, right? But it's
Mhm.
just a complete coincidence, and it's right on the Tennessee border for those that don't know.
All right, let's moving right along here. The fall wedding season is underway.
Oh,
Mhm.
Uh, got a question for you all. Of course, college football right around the corner as well. You guys are good Kentucky football fans, I think.
Yes.
Fair to
Mhm.
say. Let's do a hypothetical. If Kentucky's 6-0 going into their game against Oklahoma, I think that's a road game for them. I'm not 100% sure, but they'll play Oklahoma at some point. But anyway,
it's a road game.
6-0 going into that game, and your niece or nephew's getting married. We got a 3:30 kickoff. A wedding kicks off at 4 o'clock. No, let's make it worse. Wedding kicks off at 4:30. What are we doing?
I'm going to the wedding. When I was younger, that might have been an argument, but now as you get older and stuff, and time gets away from you, the family and the friends and stuff, all those commitments take priority. And it's also an inconceivable thing because they're sure as hell not going 6-0. But in case they did, yeah, it's the wedding for me.
Hey, all right,
Well,
Geoff.
here's the wonder of modern technology, Alan, is you can easily have that game going on your phone with all the other UK fans there, and you just have to make sure you kind of sit in the back.
That's true. But if it's a niece or a nephew, you're going to be up front or whatever.
What? All
But
right. What's the closest? What's the furthest kin? Let's put it that way. What's the furthest kin you would consider ducking the wedding?
oh, second cousin, I guess. Maybe I would say. I guess that's fair.
That
What
seems
about a
reasonable.
what about a remarriage? Like, what if somebody's on their third wedding?
I don't think anybody in my family's like that or whatever. But that's I guess that's that. I guess it depends on who it is, right?
That's a good point. It depends on who it is, but it would be less likely than a first marriage.
Not as less likely.
It's a moving barometer.
Not as least likely as Kentucky being 6-0. I bet
That's true. That's true. That's a
that
good point.
I
I will
ducked
be there
a
for the Alabama game though on the 12th.
I ducked a third wedding, not too long ago. I was just tired of going. I went to the first two, and I had no good reason to skip. So I think I was making a point, but not going. But
I love
yeah,
weddings as long as they have free food and an open bar. I mean, I'm down.
Yeah, if Kentucky was playing at home on Breeders' Cups in Lexington on the
Mhm.
31st on Halloween, if Kentucky was playing that night, I'd much rather go to a Kentucky game if they were any good. I mean, I know people are probably shocked by that, but I mean that's where I guess that's where my priorities are at or whatever's for the moment. Not to mention be so crowded at the Breeders' Cup.
okay. Next on the chopping block, congratulations, Jerry Dixon Jr.
Yes, wow.
Yeah.
with a horse named Ballright at 30-1. Goes wire to wire at Ellis Park in the last race on Saturday. Then turns around, runs third, a troubled third with
Mhm.
Alley's Glory in a
Right.
1 mile
Another
maiden
price,
touchdown.
15 to 1, right?
15-1. Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, a little bit of trouble in the stretch. I don't think he was going to win, but
Probably, I think he's gonna get second. I think that
he
horse
could
probably got second.
he could have gotten
Ran
second.
well. Definitely still very promising. Yeah.
I think there's some maybe a future for that horse on grass. Maybe he got a little grass pedigree.
Hmm.
Yeah. Again, he beat a lot of good trainers in those two races. We talked about it. I think when we talked about Jerry last week, it's like he had beaten a lot of good trainers at first start, and then on a Friday with Ballright, he beat them all. And I was on air that day, and when you're on air, you're busy think of a lot of different things. But I completely forgot. And then Joe never we never talked about the horse because they didn't. There's only so much time you have where you talk about everybody, and
Right.
I'm really good about that. I just kind of forgot about the horse or whatever. But down the stretch, I knew he was going to win, and that was a thrill to see that horse get up. And I know it had to be a thrill for both he and his betrothed Brittany.
Yeah. I will say, it pays to listen to the Auxiliary Gate podcast because he was bullish on both of
Yes,
those runners going into the weekend, and they both absolutely ran, surpassed expectations and much outran their odds.
I think he probably gets a second win if he has a cleaner trip on Saturday, and I think he was up against a really, really good, well-meant firster. So had that been a more average Turfway maiden race. I mean, Ellis maiden race this late in the meet or whatever. He probably gets another win, but still, I thought the horse ran exceptionally well.
Yep.
And finally, before we get to our guest, of course, last week we learned that Jeff Riggs was a former tennis star, basketball standout, five-star blue chip athlete. Jeff, what do you have in store for us this week? Of course, I'm speaking of the Jeff Riggs factoid of the week. Take it away.
Man, see, I should have prepared for the CC. I forgot that we do the Jeff Riggs factoid of the week now. Let's see. What is a good factoid for this week? Um,
Do you
hmm,
give do you give out WWGD bracelets or anything like that?
I do not. I do
Good.
not do that. Yeah, no,
Like
I
WWGRD, right?
that could be. That could be. Yeah. Let's see. I'm stuck in the sports realm. Um, have we talked about my poker playing before, other than just poker nights?
I don't think so.
I don't think we have either. Well, back when in the online poker boom, I was going through college and um, actually technically paid part of my way through college. Shout out to my mom and dad for paying most of the way through my college. But yeah, so definitely not minimizing that whatsoever. But the part that I did have to pay, I paid for by playing online poker many, many hours a day. Um, very little sleep, but I did very well on the major online poker sites when they were up and running before Black Friday shut all of that down. But that's something that a lot of people don't know about me. So I guess while I was a college student, I was a semi-professional poker player and did well.
Wonderful. That's
Mhm.
awesome.
Thank you.
Online poker was fun. I enjoyed that.
Hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun back in the day. So I wish they would bring it back. But I think it would be very, very much unsafe to play unless you had some kind of guarantee that you're not playing in a room with the six people that are literally in the same room.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would be an issue. But
Hmm.
anyway, all right, all right. That's it. That's enough. Let's go directly to our guest.
All right, welcome back. With the record-setting Ellis Park meet coming to a close, we thought this was the perfect time to bring on tonight's special guest. If you've watched the Ellis Park simulcast show, he is the man pulling all the strings behind the curtain, putting all the moving pieces together. He's the conductor of one of the best simulcast shows in racing, in my opinion, while having a crew that is a fraction of the size of most major racetracks. So I'm happy to introduce tonight my friend and the technical director at Ellis Park, Ryan Wilson. Ryan, thanks for joining us tonight, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. It's good. It's been good working with you here the past few weekends as well and hanging out a little bit.
No, it's been awesome getting to see you guys and get to know you a little bit better. It's been fun.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, congratulations on another extremely successful meet. You and your team do a great job creating a professional show. It's entertaining. It always has a little bit of flair. I like the little Easter eggs that you guys throw in every once in a while. Have you had a chance yet to just kind of take a breath and reflect on how the meet went overall?
No, not really, but it always goes by way too quick. That's one of the biggest things. And
Hmm.
like when you finally find your groove, it's already over. It's the last weekend type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like it does fly by. It's you get into the meet and you think you have so much left, and then I can't believe it was already closing weekend this weekend. But I am glad I did get to get out there Sunday, hang out with you guys after the races as well, and enjoy things with the crew. Celebrate a job well done, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's always good. It's always good to see you behind the scenes. Everyone is always professional, but to see us more with our guards down is always
Right.
fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great group there for sure. A lot of people don't really know what all goes on behind the scenes talking about that to put on a show every day, live TV. Can you just like talk a little bit about what a technical director does on a show like that?
So basically, a technical director is basically putting all the moving pictures and pieces of a show together live on just on the spot. So our crew at Ellis, we have 6 people total, basically
Which is an
whipping.
insane number for people who don't know. Insanely small number for a production like this.
Yeah, so we only have 3 in the control room and then three camera operators, and then we'll say seven. So seven total.
Mhm.
But basically, everything is the same, but it's different. Every day is a different operation. It's different from the previous day, and that's something that I like. So with like the simulcast show, you'll basically have your camera guys set up in positions to shag the horses, to shag the environment, to basically just capture and put on the best show that makes people basically feel like they missed something by not being at the track, or calling you to come down to Ellis Park, wanting
Mhm.
to try out some of those dollar beers, try out some of those dollar hot dogs. Like the big thing that I think about Ellis Park is it's one of a kind.
It
It's
is.
it's like walking into a weird, beautiful carnival that is still kind of set up with a charm that it knows itself. It knows who it is. It's not trying to be anything that it isn't. And it's inviting to families, and it can get the young horse fan involved, and that was my inspiration. Like for me, uh I didn't really, you know, think that I could ever end up in this industry
Mhm.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like my dad would bring me to the track, and I'd be one of the kids that would be running with a hot dog and a drink and a $20 bill to last me for the day. That could be just eating food or sneaking onto a mutual screen. But I like seeing the kids and that kind of thing be involved in the sport, and kind of can keep it around and keep it still growing instead of like the industry not growing anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And it shows how important that stuff is too. You know, a lot of people can see that as just kind of like secondary, but those fan interactions and bringing people to the track and getting those experience of those kids that are running around with a hot dog on the rail and having that experience with their family, they turn into racing fans and people in the racing industry like you. You know, that's how people get there. I guess that was my kind of rolls into my next question is how you got interested in racing and how you started in the industry. What was your first job in the racing industry?
So my first job was backside shoot at Churchill Downs before
Mm-hmm.
there was PTZs back there. Probably right around the COVID September uh, Derby time, whenever
Yes.
that was.
Uh-huh.
2021,
20,
2020,
21. Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
whenever that was. But
Yep.
right around then is when I started. And I came from, before I came into working on the backside of Churchill, I just graduated film school at DePaul in Chicago. So I'd been
Mm-hmm.
doing music videos and music production and a production assistant on movies and that kind of world. And then COVID happened, and kind of the movie studio industry world in Chicago started to die down. And then my wife got a job at Norton's. So then that's what
Mm-hmm.
brought me to Louisville. And
Right.
I saw a job posting on Indeed, and then I was like, it's pretty cool to work at Churchill. I'd
Right.
never
Yeah.
been there
Horse racing's
before.
pretty cool. Yeah, and it's still a kind of a broadcast world.
Yeah, and so I could
Yeah.
still do what I loved, but I grew up at Turfway. I'm not going to say it doesn't have the same like wonders that a Churchill does.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but my first time being at Churchill Downs was working, so I got to see this beautiful place from the backside since I
Mm-hmm.
started on the backside shoot. So I got to come into Churchill kind of differently than most people get to see it on the front side. I got to see it from the backside, which was cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful scenery for your workday every day. That's for sure.
Yeah,
A
it
lot
was
of
amazing.
history and storied, yeah, everything going on there.
So it was basically like Ian Wilkes Barn, Helen Pitts
Hmm.
Blasey over there in
Yep.
that kind of shoot area.
Hmm. Very cool. How did you get into from behind the camera into like your job at Ellis, being a director of the show?
So when I was in school, Uh, I have done some technical directing in different aspects, but
Hmm.
for me, right when the kind of that Churchill Downs kind of scandal was happening with, uh, there were a bunch of horses that got hurt or injured in
Hmm.
a short period of time, and
Yep, when they had to move to Ellis. Yep.
and then they moved the whole. I mean, honestly, they just picked up the whole meet and moved us within 2 or 3 days, and then just resumed racing, which was
Right.
pretty incredible and neat that we even pulled that off too. And
Sure.
kudos to the Ellis Park and International Sound and everybody who was able to pull that off.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing, honestly. Talking about just all the craziness that goes on behind the scenes to pull off a live broadcast. For those who have never been in a control room, it can get very hectic in there with so many moving pieces, and the unexpected seems to always happen. Shifting to different time constraints, you have to have a crew that works really well together and responds well under pressure. And we always say that the Ellis Park crew is small but mighty. As you said, you only have six total people. You got three in the control room, well, seven, I guess, three in the control room and then cameramen. And they all do an awesome job. Can you talk a little bit about your crew and what they do each race day?
Basically, we have a great crew of guys who've been shooting in the industry for a long time. I know maybe before my time, 5, 6, even in my time, it's been adjusting. But Ellis Park maybe didn't have the best video, or people would want good shot racing and not
Mhm.
shaking or losing the horses. And
Yeah.
with our guys, basically, you know, they enjoy shooting, they enjoy being there at the track. One thing that I learned, I had I had a lot of directors that, might have been hard on me or kind of snippy. So I always direct from the point of view like we're all holding paintbrushes and we're all
Hmm.
trying to paint this beautiful picture. We can't have a Picasso if, I'm fighting over my paintbrush and I have others in the crew that can shine. And if everyone's, gets to actively be a part of the painting, we can make some really cool stuff. And that's how I direct is I try and let everybody have a piece at the pie and try and put together a fun broadcast. And I think the guys and ladies in our room do a really great job at portraying a good time at Ellis.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I mean, you have to have that trust in your crew to do that too, to give them that little bit of leeway to have that creative license, and I think that it really does shine through in the broadcast as well.
No, and I do too. I think if you if you let people shine, they'll shine for you. So yeah, when
Hmm.
it's time to get to work, we'll make sure we're doing it right, getting the post parade and everything. But in between racing, if you catch a bird or a barn swallow, I think
Hmm.
you should show some of the beauty that's going on in the world, you know?
Yeah, that's right. And some things that you miss not being at the track too.
Some people forget to look down where their feet are. They forget,
Right, right.
they forget where they're at. They forget where they are in life. And if I think if you sometimes check down where your feet are, you'd be surprised at where you are and everything you'd accomplished. And it's just a good check in from time to time.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I'll let CC have it here in a minute, but one thing I wanted to mention before I do is my favorite thing about working with you guys at LS is that you and the crew all truly have love for horse racing. And that's not necessarily the case everywhere, just the racing, all the stories around it. I think that specifically comes through in the Ellis feed. Do you think that you all being race fans makes a better show for the viewer?
I do. I would think that I direct the show from a degenerate point of view. I direct it
Exactly.
from
Yep.
a better's point of view, and
Uh-huh.
I think mostly the eyes watching are better, so they would want the better's perspective or to see some of the stuff that
Hmm.
I would be looking for if I was betting, like if a horse scratches, or I'd like to know that so I can get out of my pick three, pick four, or pick five if I don't like some of the options I'm stuck to.
Hmm. Yep, 100% agree. All right, CC, I know you got some questions for Ryan, so I'll let you take the reins here for a little bit.
Ryan,
What's up, brother?
can you tell us one thing that would make the world think less of Joe Christophek?
What would that one thing be?
Well, I'm asking you. We want to tear him down right now. Just ruin the reputation. Can we do that?
No, I don't think so. I think old Joey K, he's a good guy. I think both the Chris effects are good dudes. Some of the best people I'd ever met. So can't say
Seconded.
anything
Shout
bad.
out Danny. Shout out Danny.
Yep. Dan is a stud. I just don't think Joey K can karaoke. That's the one thing. But he has heart. He has a lot of soul.
Yeah, I agree with that. Although I did not see what happened on Sunday night. I've heard about it, and
No,
that's
it was good.
was
It was good. I'm hating. It
okay.
takes courage to even get up there.
All right. Uh, what's your passion? What's your real passion? I think I know. I'm not 100% certain. Yeah, 100% certain.
I'm passionate in life, you know. I'm
No, no, no,
passionate in
no, no,
having a
no.
good time.
That's a general. That you're being generic. Do you want to make films
Yeah, I want to make movies. I'm passionate about movie making.
for real?
Yeah,
Did you go to film school
I did.
In Orlando?
No. So I went
No.
in Chicago to
Yeah.
DePaul.
DePaul. Okay. All right. Well, where did that come from?
Well, basically, when I graduated at the University of Pikeville, one of my mentors there, he went to film school, but at Ohio. So initially, I wanted to go make documentaries. And then through the process, I decided I didn't want to make documentaries, and I had a lot of scripts and stories that I've written. And I was like, I'd like to try it and see if I can go out there and swing it for a little bit. And I applied to a bunch of schools, and really it was DePaul that a few other schools accepted me, but DePaul was the best, and it gave me the best kind of options to work, the kind of best place to live for a 20 something kid and explore and kind of find out who I was in a kind of big city.
And now, is there a chance that you could maybe expand that horizon a little bit? Is there a chance maybe I mean, what's the next step to doing what you would like to fulfill your passion?
All right, before we get on this, basically I make music. So I have a stage name, and my stage name is Moose Gypsy. So,
What? Moose Gypsy.
yeah,
That's awesome.
that's my I'm on Spotify. I'm on a bunch of stuff.
What kind of
It's instrumental, EDM, world music, but basically that's we could say that's my alter ego. And I'd like to kind of build a whole kind of film, music, basically a brand, I guess, but all around the Moose Gypsy world.
what
And
is
it's
your
well, basically if you know the Moose Gypsy, then it's like, oh, you've made friends or we're friends. Usually. Now
okay?
everybody will know who the Moose Gypsy is.
I just
What
followed you. I just followed you on Spotify with that hit single Gypsy Milk, right? That you?
Yeah, yeah. We
what's
don't have a lot of listeners, but
You got one more now.
all right?
good.
What's your style of directing? What type of movies do you like to, or what would you aspire to be? What type of movie?
Basically, hillbilly horror.
For real?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You
Well,
could
that's right
take
up
some
my alley.
inspiration from Ellis Park there, Ryan.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
yeah, absolutely. But basically, like Rob Zombie, like a Devil's Rejects. I like the style movies I like making are, you know, one location, uh, a family in a minivan. They fucked up. They showed up at a bowling alley. Nobody's at the bowling alley, and it's a bowling alley run by cannibals. And then you work through your family drama and stuff, and that's the underlying theme of the movie. Work through your family issues to see if you can make it out of the night trapped with some some of the world's worst people in fun locations that everybody goes to.
That sounds like maybe you should get Meryl Streep on the line or Dame Judi Dench. I think they'd be interested.
Yes.
So have you done this before? Or is it something you're planning to do or
I'm planning. I have done. I have shorts and other films like that. Nothing major, but
are they available to watch
yeah, they're available. I can
on
find them.
YouTube? On YouTube?
No, not on YouTube.
All right. Hey, would you care to do some rapid fire questions real quick? First thing that comes to your mind,
Yeah, let's
or the
go.
comedy or horror,
Horror.
film or streaming television,
Film.
best movie soundtrack ever.
I like I like the Lord of the Rings. There's something about it.
Okay, cool. Best actor working today.
Hmm. I can't think of fucking nobody. We'll just say Brad Pitt. Fuck it.
He's good.
Win the Kentucky Derby or win an Oscar.
Win the Kentucky Derby.
Oh wow. Be famous or be rich.
Be rich.
Who would you rather have as a centerpiece of a film, a jockey or a trainer?
A jockey.
One movie you could take with you to a deserted island.
Night at the Roxbury.
Jesus, really?
Wow,
He had that one queued up. I
Wow.
was ready to go.
I'm disappointed. I'm ending it right here. We'll go to Alan. Alan, take it away.
Well, that one kind of threw me for a loop right there. Anyway,
Let's just shut it down. That's enough.
Wow.
No, that was always everybody at school always had these pretentious, amazing films that they always loved. If I'm being honest, like probably Shawshank Redemption, but Night at the Roxbury is my favorite movie. And then when I say Night at the Roxbury, it's always a mixed bag of responses, so it's always fun.
Yeah, I didn't know I was talking to a Chris Kattan fan here, but okay.
Yeah, the only one.
Even Chris Kattan's mom's not a fan, but anyway, we'll get back to your job as technical director, real quick over there at Ellis Park. I know it's a difficult job, right? Bringing all that stuff to life, but I mean, so there's a lot of moving parts. But did you find that your job got, I don't know, considerably easier when you have someone as photogenic, say as myself, to film? Does that help you out quite a bit? I would think it would, right?
Oh, it does. You guys glow.
That steely sensual gaze. I was wondering it might be like a little too distracting at times. Or I guess someone with your talent was able to fight through that, right?
Yeah, and it gives it a good curveball from just dealing with Joe.
That's true. That's true. Joe is a pretty good middleman right there because when we're sitting there in the secondary chair and Joe's talking, we think he's talking to us and he's talking to you. So for those who don't know in his earpiece, because you're giving him directions or he's giving you directions and stuff. It is kind of like a unique situation. He's in Louisville talking to you and you're in Henderson talking to him, right? And everything seems to work out.
Yeah. No, I think that's something that we've been working on, and I think when you can communicate, it makes everything seamless.
Do you allow your team, you've got a great production team there, do you allow them to make eye contact with you when you're working or not working, or you're just, hey man, I'm above you and just off limits? Or I mean, is that how that works?
No, they can always look at me. Maybe others might be that way, but I'm always approachable.
That's good. That's good. What about mishaps over the years? How long have you been doing this job in particular?
Probably 4 years.
So, okay, so what are some mishaps maybe the rest of us didn't notice, maybe the rest of us did, that you'd like to have back? Has anything come to mind that's happened on air or over the last couple of years?
Mm, no, not really. I mean, sometimes, it's hard to kind of dwell on stuff because even when something's going wrong, you're trying to make it seem like nobody can see an error. That's
Yeah.
that's the most fun part is we may be sitting in a fire, but make it look like out there to the world everything's going fine.
Yeah, that's a talent right there in itself. And you were talking a moment ago about wanting to film this movie for 5,000, $15,000. And where are you going to get that money? If I'm not mistaken, when I was on the desk on Friday, a little birdie told me that you could have just about funded that movie yourself with a hit you had earlier in the meet, right? Didn't you hit for about 10 grand earlier in the meet?
Yeah, yeah, the the Turf Pick 3, but that yeah, the thought of making a movie, yes, comes to mind, but that's you know, I put it all in my savings so it could still be made.
Yeah, well, okay, so this is where you get to brag. Now you talked about your directing skills and all the other things that you've done, your music, but this is a horse racing podcast, and I want you to brag on that ticket that you put up there because, and I want you to tell us how much you won and how much you put into the ticket because this has my ultimate respect.
So basically it was a $24 ticket and I won $9,392. So it was a good
Hats off to you, brother. That
that
was
was
one of,
a lottery ticket hit.
and it was a 777. Give me the. I mean, when I was on air, it's talking about Summer Pauly is the one that hooked you up. What happened? I
Yeah.
don't remember the sequence off the top of my head.
Basically I think Summer Polly was on a Rusty Arnold horse. Can't remember the name on the top of my head either, but yeah,
Oh yeah,
it was one of those where you know you have the win, so you don't have to kind of worry about a head bob or something. So it's a good win, if that makes any sense.
gotcha.
So
That
she
I
just
understand.
started to turn up the stretch, and you knew she had enough horse if she just let it go, and she let it go, and it was a comfortable win.
So that actually leads me to believe it's like so. You're getting ready to cash a big ticket, but you also have to keep your presence in mind to keep the production going properly, right? Were you able to balance those two? Apparently, work because I didn't notice.
Yeah. No, I don't even know. I've never hit for something like that, so it was just, oh wow, that's really gonna happen there.
That's awesome.
And then just digesting it, and then being happy and excited. On that race,
Uh,
we probably showed off all angles and sides of that horse, but
it makes me wonder why we were sitting in the analyst chair. Maybe we should try our head into directing. Maybe you should be sitting in the analyst chair, the chair that Joe occupies, because apparently your ROI is like through the roof this meet, right?
oh yeah, no, it is, and that would be fun. I think that'd be a fun switcheroo.
There he goes. Let's talk to Joe about that. You talked about the Ellis Park folks. You always show the people there. It's a very blue collar racetrack. It's a very fun country fair racetrack, and it gets me thinking. Some of the debates we've had about the $5 win minimums. I'm sure you know about Kentucky Downs implementing the $5 win minimums. I'm kind of against that, and it's mainly because of the people at Ellis Park. I was like, those people are just out there to have a good time. They don't want to have to be stuck with minimums. Do you have an opinion on that, or do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I don't think they should have a
No,
minimum because I mean, okay, we could say yes, it'll increase the pool, but it takes out from getting those kind of average Joes in the pool.
who are just out there to have a good time on a Saturday afternoon, watch the corgi races, eat a dollar hot dog, and spend some time with their family and friends. Why should we be attempting to exclude those type people? Is the way I look at it. I don't know. Maybe you feel the same way, right?
No, I do.
Yeah, it's
100%.
yeah. I was like, that's what I know. It's not Ellis Park. It's at Kentucky Downs. Maybe that's a different thing. But when I think of the Ellis Park brethren who go there, that's what I kind of think about it. I don't like being exclusionary. So. Um, But any last parting words before I hand you back to Geoff about Joe Christopher, the way he works as your liaison? Any parting words about that?
No, I think since Joe's taken over and Churchill in probably 2015, I think he's put on one of the best shows in the industry and they continue to, add to it. The one thing that I think that could be interesting that we could do is you could treat Ellis Park kind of like a minor leagues, and if they'd like to incorporate stuff at Churchill Downs, we could be a test track for drones or lights, or I think lights could do really be really nice at Ellis Park. You could get rid of some of those hot days, and night
One
racing would be nice in Henderson.
1,000,000%. Just like with Turfway, right? You're a Turfway guy. I'm a Turfway guy, and Turfways went to the next level. And I think the night racing, of course, it's raced nice for a long time, but there's a je ne sais quoi to Turfway now. I think, and I think else could have the exact same thing. Not to mention be a lot more comfortable and fewer canceled race days, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I thought one last thing for I throw you to Geoff. You've done the Ellis Park Derby now. Would you want to ever do the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, I think that'd be cool. I think
Well,
if
there
one
you,
day, yeah, I think it'd be
yeah.
fun.
I think you'd be really good at it. Stuff. I've seen your crew in action. Abby, Dustin, Mike Z. Who am I forgetting? Uh,
Randy and John B. and William Walls.
Shout out, guys. You do a great job. So take it away, Geoff.
Yep, absolutely. Got to shout out the crew. They are unbelievable. They wear many hats. Shout out to Abby because she made us some auxiliary gate bracelets actually closing weekend. So thank you for that,
Awesome.
Abby. Very cool. I was able to wear mine on closing day. That was awesome. Um, yeah, Ryan, I guess just kind of wrapping it up. It's awesome having you on, man. I mean, people talk to you and you're so like calm and nonchalant and everything. And then as you said, they find out these things about you as being a Renaissance man, basically. You're a movie maker, you're a director, you've worked cameras, you've worked graphics. I mean, talking about Derby, we've worked Derby week together behind the scenes too. So you've done all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff and bounced around. So it's really cool to just get your story out here, man.
No, and it was cool. Like even when they put in the Tessera board in the paddock area, I was putting in the graphics there. One of the first
Right.
people.
Uh-huh. Yep. Yep. So Ryan wears many hats and he's good at all of them. And I think that your personality really kind of shines through there. Just thinking about moments and what a successful Ellis meet this was. This is kind of off the wall, but one of my favorite moments this year was when you guys captured the hot dog eating champ himself, Kevin Kirstein, in action that one day when me and Joe were on. And that clip from your broadcast got about as much traction on social media as I've seen anything from any track this year. So I guess my two questions are one, whose idea was that? Because that was a great idea. And two, do you all put a special focus on creating outside the box moments like that, or do they just kind of come naturally?
So both. So on that one, now KK will know who finally caught him. But I I I, I knew KK was going to be at the track, and the previous year we had a hot dog counter on KK, but
Yep.
I caught wind of him eating a hot dog in the early breakfast hour, so we had a camera
Yes.
stationed on him,
Morning
which it
dog.
was morning dog is weird, but I love hot dogs. But we caught him, and I was basically like, I love KK, and I don't want to make him feel that we're doing him wrong, but we have to show him devouring this hot dog. But
He
then
did it well. It's not like,
he
it's
did.
not like he had it all over the place or anything. It was a very efficient dog.
Yeah, it wasn't sloppy, and
Right.
I don't want to show anyone being sloppy or that. I want to show their best moments. But
Exactly.
sometimes we kind of look for those moments and sometimes we create them. So just like quickly, uh on the last day, we had that Joseph Balmier
Mm-hmm.
basically interview and basically putting the replay and his tight pan over top Joe's interview. That was just kind of on the fly thinking that this would make this interview a lot better. And then Joe started to shine in his interview, which made the whole thing look really good. And I think, you know, other tracks can do a good job at showing jockeys and that kind of light and show what they're actually talking about. That's my biggest thing. Show to the average fan, what's going on. Show
Mm-hmm.
from their point of view, which is neat.
Yeah, he was able to describe the trip, and we were talking about that before we got on air too. Honestly, that was one of the best stakes interviews that we've seen this year anywhere as well. I just thought the production was great, and two, the content was great. I think Joe did a great job with both Joes, Joe Christopher and Joe Belmer, both did a great job, and I just thought it was very heartfelt and I think resonated with a lot of people.
No, I agree. I thought it was real good.
Hmm. Well, Ryan, it's been awesome, my man. Definitely appreciate. I always enjoy our conversations that we have. I'm glad we were finally able to let the world in on it a little bit. You're an interesting man with many talents. Hopefully, we'll have you back next year if you're down. Right?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
All right, sweet.
Thanks for
Sounds good,
having
man.
me.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We definitely appreciate your time. Go get some well-deserved rest, brother. I know it's been a marathon.
Thank you. You guys
All right.
too.
Thanks, Ryan.
Okay, big weekend in the racing world. We've got the Travers coming up on Saturday and the St. Louis Derby as well from Fairmount Park. I'm sure you guys will be watching that.
Oh boy.
Of course.
Blackout blackout time. Yeah, it's a nice race. It's $250,000.
I know.
Does it come on like 1 a.m. or something? I'm in bed well before that.
I don't know about that. Can't answer that. But no, the big news is the Travers is a whale of a race. You've got basically all of the players, the main players, except for maybe Further Ado, Commandment, are no shows. But you got the Derby winner, Golden Tempo. You've got Renegade, Silent Tactic, the Preakness
Napoleon Solo.
Napoleon Solo. It's it's you got the up and comer from the Brad Cox barn, whose name has already escaped me.
Leading change.
Leading change. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thinking it was Dam's name, but I think
Our boy O'Selly's back.
Sally. What about that? What, Maiden? It's won over $800,000.
Yeah.
And
Richest maiden of all time, I believe.
Yep, coming off a poor effort in the Haskell, he was seventh, beating 100 links, I think. But I think maybe a good chance to go for a price. I picked Napoleon Solo on top. I think there's a chance he could go wire to wire if they let him go early. I got a little birdie that told me Golden Tempo's not training so well. Be interesting to see how he does. Said he's just kind of going through the motions in the morning.
It's interesting.
This particular guy has said, but I don't know.
Isn't he kind of like that though? Isn't he kind of a horse that isn't super flashy in the mornings?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he could be one of those guys that turns it on game day. But I mean, I'll take any reason to play against him because he'll be a low price.
Yeah, I've heard Renegade's looking awesome going into this race. On the other end of that, he's looked really good.
Yeah, I believe that. Also heard that the Chad Brown horse is looking really good.
Yeah, Emerging Market. I've always loved that horse.
No, the other one. The other
Oh,
one.
the other one.
Sea Strike.
Yeah. Sea Strike.
Supposedly that horse is coming in the race well. So.
Okay.
Yeah, if I was playing any I've hardly even watched Saratoga this meet, but if I was playing any multi-race wager, which looks like a pretty chalky sequence, I would try to use Sea Strike and Leading Change. And if I got to live those two horses, I'd be content with that. Maybe Emerging Market.
What are you guys thinking? The Puma coming back in here. You like his chances? You think he's going to be an underlay?
Wild card. It's hard to
know. Yeah. Could kind of go either way.
Yeah, I mean, you need a price on him for sure.
Mm-hmm. I've always been in love with Emerging Market, so he's definitely going to be on my tickets. But you were talking about how Chad Brown has two in here, and Flavian Pratt's going to Sea Strike, so that might be a little bit of a tip of the hand there.
Yeah.
Good card, really nice card. The Ballerina is super tough. You get Kilwin coming from Ellis. That big win. That's a
really nice win at Ellis. Yeah,
he's 8-1, and
wow. I think he's got a big chance.
Taking on Ways and Means. Ways and Means will take a lot of money, but fun card. Englishman returns after winning the Woody Stevens by 1,000 lengths.
Yeah, that horse is just a freak.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And also Kentucky Downs.
That's right. Open up this weekend.
Kicks off Saturday. I know in the big race Saturday, I think it's the tight spot.
They're all big races.
Yeah.
Kentucky Downs.
You get Laganos. Laganos just ran less than 3 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
The 4-star day, he ran 5th. Prior to that, he reeled off 5 in a row. There's a chance for an upset there. I really like Chasing the Crown coming off.
Yeah, I've always liked that horse. He's a hard knocker.
He's 1 for 3 Kentucky Downs, was 1 second, but he's coming into this off of a freshening. So he hadn't run since June 27th, about 2 months. 2 months layoff, and he carries 6 pounds less than Laganos.
Yeah, he's got a big chance. Big chance.
Maybe Chasing the Crown upends. I'm sure a heavy favorite. I'm sure Laganos will probably be 4 to 5, something like that.
Probably.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It feels kind of tough, and Laganos is coming back awful quick. That might affect the price a little bit. Just like Chasing the Crown, Laganos loves Kentucky Downs too, right? So, but he is coming back awful quick.
Feels like it deja vu for me, and every time I think I can beat Laganos, I play against him, and he wins at a short price and knocks me out all my multi-race wagers. So that's probably what's going to happen.
Right. But there's a $3 pick 3 starts with race 9. I think it's worth a play because I think it's on both sides. That 2-year-old race in the 11th. There's some nice fillies lined up in there. Just Peachy's going to take a lot of beating, but there's more than that. Olympic Bell ran well at Ellis Park in her debut. Candy Illusion is a $600,000 daughter of Twirling Candy for Doug O'Neill. Doug O'Neill goes and gets Brian Hernandez to ride. Of course, Hernandez rides Kentucky Downs well.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting pairing. And there was one more, and I can't find it. Golden Palm for Jose D'Angelo, $240,000 2-year-old training purchase by Bolt Doro has a really nice bullet workout at Gulfstream. So that's an interesting horse. Florent Giroux takes them out.
See,
Good
I
card.
think at Kentucky Downs, a couple things I would keep an eye on at Kentucky Downs in general. Number one, speed. If speed is holding, watch out. Yeah, and sometimes the people that sounds like a obvious thing, but when the speed is really rolling at Kentucky Downs, particularly in either the sprints or the marathons, it's gonna be really hard to beat. And what we learned last year, Kelsey Danner is always dangerous.
Yep.
She could never win another race there the rest of her life, and she'll have a positive ROI because she won it 100 to 1 and 25 to 1 last meet. I'd keep an eye on Joe Sharp. I'd keep an eye on Joe Sharp points this meet. Mike Maker points this meet. Kelsey Danner does
Hmm.
very well. Um, Florent Giroux is underrated there. Brian Hernandez is underrated there. Of course, when Jose Ortiz finally gets down there, he'll be loaded for bear. I'm forgetting one other trainer I was going to mention, but
Wesley Ward gets his fair share, although
Wesley,
they get overbet. But
yeah, Wesley,
Yeah.
yeah. But Sharp has been on a roll. But when the speed is holding, watch out and stuff there and stuff. So I would keep that in mind at all times.
I do think that Alan makes a good point too about the jockeys, and especially early, first week of Kentucky Downs, jockeys that have had proven success over the track have such an edge, in my opinion, just because it's such a different configuration.
Absolutely, because I know Yetsit Hazelwood, for instance, there we all know Yetsit Hazelwood's a fantastic jockey. Has he ever ridden there before? I don't think so. It's a different scenario.
Yeah, I
Like
doubt it. Yeah.
and the guy that people knock, Florent Giroux, has ridden there a lot and done exceptionally well. So that's why you ignore when people knock people. You just put everybody else's opinions out and go with what you've seen and stuff too. And it goes back. And I saw somebody on Twitter saying that I can't believe Kentucky Downs is running the same day as the Travers, and I was like, well, who gives this rat's ass? It's not Downs' job to care when Saratoga's running. Believe it or not, there's a lot of us don't really give a rat's ass if Saratoga's running. I much prefer Kentucky Downs. So that there's this whole mentality that everybody has to think the same way. Not everybody does. So
just don't run on top of each other.
yeah, well,
Yes.
yeah. I won't be watch. I only watch a couple from Saratoga. So if they ran on top of each other, I probably wouldn't notice. But yes, your point's well taken there.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to add?
No,
You
football
guys see
season's.
that they got rid of the Pro Bowl?
Thank
No.
God. No, I didn't see that, but
Yeah, finally, long time coming, but yeah, I thought that was cool. Saw that announcement just before we went on air, and it
That's kind of surprising because it's like one of the most watched, even as bad as it's been in the last 20 years. It's one of the most watched events on the calendar. One of the most
Yeah.
watched sporting events for some reason.
the only All Star games worth anything, I think, is the Major League Baseball one. I mean, the rest of them are
Yeah.
just, so even that's got its issues and stuff, but those guys are trying to hit home runs. So,
That's true. That is true. Yeah. Yeah, once they went to flag football, it kind of lost any luster it had left, in my opinion. I always think back to the glory days of the Pro Bowl when y'all remember when Sean Taylor just lit up that punter on that fake punt.
yeah.
That was like my favorite Pro Bowl memory ever.
And it was when a New England Patriots a star running back got hurt and his career was over. And that's why I think they had to start changing the way they did the Pro Bowl, which I understand. It's like, I don't want to go risk in an exhibition, risk the rest of my livelihood.
Right. Right.
So I get all that.
What's the
Mhm.
worst All Star game? That or NBA?
NBA, WNBA. Not that I only see that from TikTok, but we could get a whole thing going about WNBA.
All
We
right,
probably
that's
shouldn't do
enough.
that.
That's enough for the NBA. Edit that out. All right, that's all right. On that note, we'll call it quits. On behalf of our guest, Jack of all trades, Ryan Wilson, Mister Mystique, Mister Interesting, the most interesting man in Henderson, Kentucky, and of course, Jeff Riggs, Alan Schneider, and a cast of thousands. I'm CC Broaddus, reminding you that gambling money ain't got no home. Good night.